We got the support from the lights and the VFX and the background music, etc., which is required, and we made it really, really modern. So the presentation was modern, the story was ancient. Hamaram has largely contributed towards the modernization of Indian theatre in the last 2 years, and now the trend is picking up with at least 10 to 15 other producers. See, in 2025, it was a wonderful year for Hamare Ram. And yes, if you see one calendar year, we did more than 251 shows of that one play called Hamare Ram, starring Shri Ashutosh Rana ji. Of course, there were many challenges because, see, we are performing every week in some city or the other in the country or abroad. So practically from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're doing 2 shows every week. And it has to be a different city, and with different cities we face different challenges like permissions, auditorium augmentation, setting up the screens, the lights, the sound, especially the sound and the lights. This is one Herculean task. And of course, with the kind of fog which is going on and the kind of airline systems and supports that we are having these days, the entire cast, because our cast is comprising of 148 members, the cast and crew. So to make them travel from one city to the other, it becomes really a logistically oriented challenge. And of course, 251 or 252 shows in one calendar year is no joke for a play like this, of this magnitude, where most of the performances, 99% of the performances are ticketed oriented. And it becomes a little tough. But yes, जिस पर प्रभु की कृपा हो तो वो चीज़ तो चलनी है. That is what we feel. And looking forward from here on, 2026 also looks very promising. I mean, 2025 we did one abroad overseas tour, and in 2026 we have 6 overseas tours lined up. We are reaching Dubai Opera House in the month of March. We're doing Singapore, we're doing Amsterdam, we're doing Dublin, and we're also doing London and America. So these are on the cards right now, but 2026 is going to be a year where Hamare Ram will travel abroad. So almost 2 years, we traveled all across the country. We did more than 450 shows, and in 2025, we're going to do minimum 250 shows across the borders. And most famously, we're going to the Lincoln Theatre at Broadway. So it'll be the first Indian theatre play to reach Broadway, New York's Broadway Street. And we all are very excited about it. To make it more relatable and to make it more Gen Z oriented or Gen Alpha oriented, we really wanted to make a play, because see, it's a story which is 8,000 years old, and if we don't make it relevant in today's time with today's modern generation, then we would not have stood a chance anywhere. So what we did was we narrated the same story in a very different way. We packaged it in a different way, and we supported. We got the support from the lights and the VFX and the background music, etc., which is required, and we made it really, really modern. So the presentation was modern, the story was ancient, and we made it really fast. In 3 hours and 20 minutes, we practically completed the entire Ramayana, varying from the Uttarakhand to the Yuddha Kand to Ayodhya Kand to Sundar Kand. All the Kands we showed, and we made it more relatable to people. We made it more story-oriented. That is why we made this into 3 hours and 20 minutes, wherein the people get a crash course on Ramayana, and whichever adhyay, whichever aspect, whichever character, or whichever part of the story they would like, they can do a further research on it. So it is like a crash course, but a very beautifully made crash course which can be relatable to the modern times, and also people in our generation, the newer generation, of course, the younger generation would be more associated with Prabhu and his narrative, which is almost 8,000 years old. So as I said, we are going to 7 countries in 2026. The countries are US, we're going to Broadway. Then the countries are London, then we are going to Dublin, Amsterdam, Singapore, and of course we're doing Dubai again. and we might do Australia also in the year in the month of December of 2026. So these are the abroad trips because this is one narrative, one story which is liked by every generation, every population, every part of the world, every part of the country. And coming back to our country, we will be doing more than 200 shows in our own country, India. And we will try to go to places and geographic locations we have not reached before. Like 2026, we are doing Punjab. We're doing an entire Punjab tour. Then in 2026, we will be doing an entire Uttar Pradesh tour. Then in 2026, again, we will be, traveling places in the northeast, places down south actually, beyond Chennai. We are going to Bhubaneswar, we're going to Odisha, we're going to, the Western Ghats and places where a normal commercial play would hardly ever reach. But this is a story which has to reach everywhere. And since we are not showing it digitally or since we are not putting it up on any platform like the OTTs or YouTubes or whatever, so we need to answer this question for people from all geographic locations. Hence, we will be going pan-India and of course, across the borders. See, a large part of this evolution has been contributed by Hamare Ram because Hamare Ram today is the #1 play of our country, India. And we would like to take it global and make it the #1 play globally. Hamare Ram has contributed and made, I would say, a case study for all the theatre producers, wherein now more than 10 to 15 producers are lining up content, lining up plays, lining up auditoriums, streamlining various places. They're trying to open auditoriums. People are trying to construct new auditoriums. There are corporate houses that are constructing newer and newer auditoriums. Governments are more, I would say, sensitive to making facilities wherein they can showcase these kind of plays, because doing a show or a music concert is different and doing a play, a theatrical play, is completely different. It's a complete different ballgame, wherein the actors are performing for more than 2 to 3 to 4 hours live on stage and doing 2 shows consecutively per day. So Hamare Ram has largely contributed towards the modernization of Indian theatre in the last 2 years. And now the trend is picking up with at least 10 to 15 other producers. And sky is the limit for India, because we are coming up with auditoriums, we're coming up with plays, we're coming up with content. There are no dearth of stories in our country, because we are a very cultural rich country and we have history. We have, people call it period dramas. We've got everything in the last 7,000 to 8,000 years. If we go down, dig deep, we have at least 10,000 stories which we can narrate and show it to the world that yes, India is stepping back to the theatre culture. Natak na atke, hame natak karna hai. And our Natya Shastra is more than 7,000 or 6,000 years old, which is the oldest Shastra. And I would say India was and is at the epitome of Natya Shastra.